sure did. Today you had the IT pack actually nice and perky in trade. But Chandra, hang in there. We've also got Sarabjith Nangra of Angel Broking is joining in on the phone line. Sarabjith, good evening. Thanks for taking time out for us. You know, as Chandra was pointing out that somewhere Cognizant has actually managed to weather the storm and, despite a fair amount of headwinds, they've actually raised the guidance for a second time this year. What did you make of Cognizant's second quarter showing?
Cognizant is actually definitely one of the largest company in IT space operating from US. But the thing is that I don't track Cognizant very closely, but Cognizant is more of an healthcare kind of a company. It drives majority of its revenue.
So Sarabjith, let's talk about the possible impact that Cognizant's performance could have on IT companies here at home. You know, the quarter gone by has really been a mixed one for our IT companies. But given the optimism that Cognizant is exuding, and of course, just like our Indian companies, a bulk of their business also comes from the United States, what sort of a rub-off effect do you expect, Cognizant could have on our IT pack? Because if you were to even look at the IT index, just ahead of Cognizant's second quarter showing, you were actually seeing gains of almost 2% on it.
That's what I'm trying to derive with, that company's performance will not have that direct impact on the Indian IT companies because it derives a major part of its through healthcare. And especially the only thing that you can take away from that is that the outsourcing story is still intact and people are looking at outsourcing still in a very serious way. So to take away from that, there is no linkage between Cognizant and Indian IT companies actually. Besides that, Indian companies also have done good job if you look at on the top line front where the volume growth has been decent across the company. Barring one or two companies where there has been disappointment, which they have been pretty vocal about in front, like Tech Mahindra and Wipro. So I guess broadly, it's more to do with the concentration on a particular domain. So if you look at an industry perspective, the industry is still doing fairly well for itself in terms of volume. As far as the margins are concerned, that happens. It's a quarterly phenomena. It's something that you can take away. You can't compare quarter on quarter for IT on OPM front because some quarters are wage heavier and some quarters are periods when the wage costs are not that very high. So, and main concern in IT firm, there is in an industry which is already concentrated and its growth is moderating as we go forward because of the size of the industry. We believe that, volume growth is a good indicator whether the growth will continue. And for that matter, that most of the companies have been posting good volume growth actually. So
Sarabjith, hi, Chandra here from Bangalore. Just want to correct you there. Cognizant derives the majority of its revenues from BFSI and the second largest would be healthcare. But the fact that they've seen robust growth across verticals, across geographies such as US, Europe, what does it indicate about the demand situation? Because Gartner a few weeks back had raised an alarm, but considering the numbers that we've seen today, does it mean the demand continues to be robust for IT?
I said the volume growth has been good enough for IT companies. So to that extent, even Cognizant is proving that the volume growth towards outsourcing industry is pretty good. That's what I said. The large companies will continue to benefit out of the trend. Whereas mid-cap and small companies have to struggle a bit harder or do a lot of acquisition to perk up their volume growth. So that trend is well established in IT sector. When the growth moderates or volume growth remains, because these companies have grown up in a size also. These companies are billion-dollar companies. From here on, for them to grow on a Y&Y basis to post growth of 15-20% is very difficult. So the growth will, according to base, will moderate for some time. And in that, large caps will benefit, and that is a trend visible in Cognizant also, in Infosys also, in other companies also, which are large
Sarabjith, I'm sorry. We'll have to just cut across to a live event. You've got the finance minister talking. Let's listen in to him.
Sir, the government led by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Modi ji is trying to steer the Indian economy.